Good afternoon. My name is Ces Butner, and I have the honor to serve as this year's president of Rotary Club of Oakland. Founded in 1908, the Rotary Club of Oakland is the third oldest club of some 35,000 clubs throughout the world. We are a community of 300 men and women from all walks of Oakland's civic, commercial, and community life, committed to the Rotary motto of service above self. I'd like to welcome you to our 5,324th club meeting. For over 111 years, we have welcomed Rotarians and guests from around the world to our club meetings. We continue to do so virtually, so if you're a visiting Rotarian or if you're a guest of a Rotarian, please let us know by typing your name and the name of your club into the chat box located at the center bottom of the screen, as indicated by the red arrow on the slide you're viewing now. By doing so, we will be able to recognize you later in this meeting. Also, we recommend that all participants view this Zoom meeting by clicking the speaker view button located in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. And if you have comments throughout the meeting or questions from the speaker, please use the chat button at the bottom of the screen for that as well. And now for our thought for today, Rotarian Georgia Richardson.
Good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. I was not sure what my thought for the day would be until I attended a California Association of Realtors forum on diversity, equity, and inclusion. My takeaway from that forum was we must get comfortable with being uncomfortable. If we are really and truly serious about improving diversity, fixing inequities, and promoting inclusion, then we have to have those difficult conversations with all stakeholders at the table. Through our discomfort, we get awareness and growth. So again, get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Great, great. Thank you, Georgia, for setting the tone for our meeting with that inspiring thought. I like that thought.
Thank you.
Because we want to remain grounded and focused, we begin our meetings by jointly reciting our vision, which is, together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. Well, I hope you enjoyed last week's meeting where we had another great speaker, David Metz, who went through the latest polling results in Oakland. But I must admit, I'm still a little high on the national inauguration of our president and vice president of the United States yesterday, that includes Oakland's own VP Kamala Harris, which I'll see if we can't get her to speak at one of our Civic Thursday meetings. Maybe, maybe I don't think she'll have time now for us. Seriously, I know we have emphasized getting high-profile speakers to keep and attract members in this COVID-19 pandemic period. I'm beginning to realize we have another great aspect of Rotary that is missing: fellowship through the meeting in person. Early on, I had tried to have breakout rooms to stimulate the unique experience that we get in an in-person meetings. But lately, inundated with club business, not leaving enough time to do breakout sessions. This week, I'll correct that omission. We're gonna have a breakout session this week. In addition, we will still have another special great speaker brought to us from the communications committee that will help us begin to sharpen our social media skills in this virtual world. So sit back and enjoy another in our great Civic Thursday meetings.
Governor João Doria, who is a political rival of João.
And get involved with Rotary, where service above self exists. Past District Governor Ed Jelen. Do we have any visiting Rotarians or guests?
Indeed, we do, President Ces. My pleasure to welcome Diane Dorn from the Rotary Club of San Leandro. She's been with us several times and always nice to have her back. So welcome, Diane.
Thank you, Ed, and welcome to Diane and all other guests. If we miss you later, we might try to get you back in here later. President-elect Dudley, will you update the club on our strategic plan work?
Thank you, President Ces, fellow Rotarians, and all of our honored guests. There's a line that planners always have is, to know where you are going, you need to have a plan. You can always change or adapt your plan, but the corollary to that was one of those Yogi Berra lines. If you don't know where you are going, you will end up somewhere else. We don't quite want to go down that road. Rotary clubs always face a certain issue of continuity. It's built into every club with the change of leadership every year. A new president, a new set of goals. Our boards change every 2 or 3 years. Ours changes every 3 years. And it's a little bit like living in the world of term limits with very short term limits. By the time somebody feels they sort of know what's going on, it's time to leave. In November, Linda Bosenecker, Sean Marks, and Gudrun Dibdahl in 2015 took seriously the idea of a strategic plan for our club. We went through a process, hired an outside consultant, did focus groups, and they developed a strategic plan from 2016 to 2019. So that expired a couple of years ago. Peter Sherris then started to work on revising the strategic plan, but he had some bumps in the road his year. Actually, he penned a very good revision of it, worked with some people, but then COVID hit and kind of things started to break apart. And we entered this whole new world of I don't know. And we've kind of lived in that world and trying to operate this year. The board of directors in November approved review and revision of that 2016 to 19 plan, and also taking into account Peter's. And so they authorized a group of people as a working group. There are 3 board members, Stephanie Casenza, Debo Sarkar, and Gary Flaxman, each person representing one of the years of the board. We have 4 current members of the club, Tori Howard, Tristan Connor, Cynthia Harris, Jesse Schmidt. And then we have Jesse Bowdle, who is our executive administrator, and also Pat Williams met with us for a couple of weeks at the beginning. And then Mary Jiang came on board when she was elected president-elect nominee, and I'm chairing that group. We've met weekly for the last 6 weeks. We've reviewed our strategic plans. We looked at the district strategic plan. We looked at Rotary International strategic plan. We looked at the surveys that were done by our club in 19 and 20, as well as Rotary International surveys. Our next phase, and actually we're starting it today, we just put the list together, is we're going to do about 30 personal interviews in the club. And so if somebody calls you and asks if they can talk with you, I hope you'll accept that. And then the next step will be to revise those questions and do another survey of the whole club. Hopefully by the end of March, we'll have a draft for the board of directors. And then actually the new board will start to look at becoming on. And hopefully by about April, we'll have our new strategic plan underway. Thank you, Ces.
Thank you, Dudley. That's important work that you've embarked on. And I'm sure your committee, your plan work will come out excellent for us. Just wanted to keep the membership informed about the work that we're doing on that strategic plan. David Kittner, Community Service, has a little bit of update as to how you're going to approach the last half of the year. David.
Thank you very much, President Ces. I'm David Kittner, and I'm the current chair of the Community Service Committee. And I just, to start, a lot of you that are new members may not be aware that our Rotary Club makes grants to local nonprofits in our community. And the way our system is set up, it's a passive system. We have, we have guidelines and we have forms. We wait for an organization to make a grant request. The Community Service Committee reviews the grant, does due diligence, and then makes a recommendation to the board. This year, we want to try something a little bit different and sort of go the McKinsey Bezos route and do a little affirmative looking as opposed to just passive waiting for people to make a grant request to us. So we are going to go out and look into the community for organizations that would be a good recipient of our money, and then look to make a recommendation to the board for such a grant. And we are looking at two ideas, two topics. One of them would be around homelessness, and we're going to have two teams, the homelessness team, and that is being led by Georgia Richardson, and a social justice team that is being led by Sam Miller. So if you would like to be involved in this process, either with a recommendation of an organization or involved in the decision-making and voting on what we recommend to the board, please reach out to Georgia for homelessness or Sam for social justice, and we will proceed forward and see how this works out. Thank you, President Ces.
Thank you, David, for that update. It's always important work, whatever we do with the community service.
I love that, David Kittner.
Hello. What was that, Jason?
I love that, David Kittner.
All right, very good. As I recapped on my first half of the year, I reminded you that we needed to work on our membership. So I'll remind you once again, I need everybody to bring somebody in with the second half of the year so we can reach my goal of the 35 new members that we want to share with them what Rotary Service Above Self does for all of us. In early November last year, we had communication chair Isaac Koss-Reed brought to us a program that tried to do a little tech training for us. And well, I believe we fell a little short on that effort. Everybody deserves a second chance. Isaac's going to tell us what we're going to do and how we can go back about that. And our speaker this today is going to help us with the social media training as well. Isaac, well, you have a few words to tell us about that today? And we're going to do it actually in the breakout rooms too. A little discussion on that.
Yes, thank you, President Ces. Isaac Koss-Reed here, Chair of the Communications and Public Image Committee. Excited to be leading the committee for the second year. And over the last 4 years, as people have looked at the crisis our country has faced, there's no doubt that a lot of people have pointed the finger at social media as being a source for disinformation and misinformation. But the reality is that social media can also be a force for good, bringing people together, raising awareness, and raising money for important causes. Rotary can make social media a force for good, and I would say Rotary Oakland has been doing just that. We're now active across the 5 most influential platforms in the US, really pursuing 3 main goals: brand awareness, especially around our Civic Thursdays, member promotion, especially for our new members, and volunteering, giving back, and fundraising, all the great work of the Community Service Committee and other efforts of the club. I'd like to note some highlights, really building on even the work that we began last year under President Peter. On Facebook, we've grown now to over 1,030 page likes. We have a group now where you can join and interact with other members. And since August, we've reached about 30,000 people and had about 5,000 active engagements on Facebook. And I'd like to again thank past President Peter, David Kittner, who's a regular contributor, Leanne Alameda, who's been a huge force for our content on Facebook, and then Sandeepa. On Twitter, we've actually reached about 17,500 people in the last 6 months and grown to 277 followers. I've been handling that and excited to keep that going for the club. On YouTube, we're up to 60 subscribers and have 3,000 views since July, with our average views increasing by an order of magnitude since we began that effort. Thank you to Sandeepa for her work there. On Instagram, which is a more visual platform, we're up to 308 followers, consistently growing and reaching new ones every week. And I'd like to thank David Kirsten, member of our committee, for really leading that effort. And finally, on LinkedIn, the professional social media platform, thanks to Stephanie Kazenza and her team for helping us add 63 new followers, 20% growth, up to now 305 on that platform. All of this, of course, is syncing up with our larger digital strategy, which in the time of the pandemic has been more important than ever. Our website, our e-newsletter, et cetera. And the reality is that we're only scratching the surface. Now, every platform is a little bit different audiences, different styles, different protocols. We're going to be learning some great tips and tricks today on a couple of the platforms. And so as you head into your breakout rooms, I'd like to just remind everybody to think about how social media can be part of your Rotary toolkit, and specifically how you can make sure it can be a force for good.
Very good. Glad you bring us up to date, Isaac. That's a lot of work that you've been doing with the committee and a lot of exposure for our club. That's what this main thing is for us to connect with one another and to grow our club. So with that, Sandeepa, will you put us in the breakout rooms and you can reflect on communications, social media, tech training, or just fellowship that everybody would like to do, because we need that in-person fellowship as well. Put us in the breakout rooms, please, Sandeepa.
Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that. That's a one time that we can kind of act like we were in our breakout rooms and have a chance to simulate in-person meetings. Thank you. I appreciated that. I had fun in my breakout room. I hope everybody else did as well. Rotarian David Kirsten, will you do us the honor of introducing this week's Civic Thursday speaker?
Sure will, President Ces. Thank you. It is my great pleasure to introduce to you today the well-known and highly accomplished Idalina Kirknis. She speaks nationally as a public speaker and social media expert, giving over 40 talks a year to audiences all over the country. Idalina has taught me so much about social media, along with many of the people I work with. She truly is a social media influencer. Idalina is also an Oakland native and alumni of Bishop O'Dowd High School, where she played #1 on the varsity tennis team and earned a tennis scholarship to Sacramento State with a team of top international players. We're fortunate to have Idalina here today as a thought leader and innovator. Her passion is to inspire others to take action, whether it's to upgrade their online presence through LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, or taking action in their life. You should know Idalina is trained as an attorney. She has a Juris Doctorate degree and a legal background. However, like many recovering attorneys, Idalina is now practicing her passion, online branding and marketing. Please help me give an Oakland Rotary #3 warm welcome to Idalina. Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Thank you for that, David. And thank you for arranging to have me present today. My name is Idalina, online presence expert and speaker, helping you upgrade your presence online. I'm thrilled to share with you specifically on building influence online, really leveraging these sites that we're on today. We're all in these squares. So it's a matter of really building influence and taking the relationship building to now leveraging these sites and doing that online versus being spammy or salesy. And we all have things that we want people, where we want people to take action, whether it's to join the Rotary or join the group or join in this cause. And we can utilize our influence thanks to the help of these social media sites, whether they be Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, to build that influence and influencing others to take action, whatever action it is you want them to take. So I thought the best thing to do is just to walk you through my social media sites so that you can see some examples of doing exactly that. I want to make sure I'm going to go ahead and share screen here. And then a little later on, I'm going to go ahead and give you all the opportunity to ask questions. Okay. So first things first, can you guys see this Facebook business page? Just shake your head or say yes. Okay, thank you so much. All right, so I'm sure you've seen the Facebook business page before. It has that cover photo, it has the profile photo, and then you have all this space to say the name of your page. And the truth is, before we make people burn calories online and scroll any further along, we want to make sure they can see right away what it is, the value that you bring, the value that your organization brings, why they should follow you, why they should join you right away. So you think about a club like Rotary or the things you're doing individually, you're doing something, right? Me as a public speaker, I'm speaking. So I show that right away in the cover photo. No one has to read anything to see that. So we can take a moment and think for ourselves, what action can you show that will show us rather than tell us what it is you do, why we should connect with you, why we should follow you. Now, people are naturally going to click around. So when you click, and I often see this, where when you click, this description area in this corner is blank. And we want to leverage that space to show, again, further explain, further show, give a description of what it is you're doing in that image, and even include, and I often see these two pieces missing. The piece that I see obviously is the captions. I think I see a lot of people do a wonderful job sharing in the caption what it is the photo is displaying. But what I see missing is a call to action. A call to action is just that, the action you want the viewer, the audience, your audience to take. So whether that be to join you at a meeting or to connect with you or to set up a virtual call with you, that's a call to action. Another, the other second piece is the hashtags. Hashtags are just a way to help your posts reach more of your target audience. So those two pieces I often see missing. And it's like, yes, we want to share all this great information, but then now what? Right? So we need the call to action and the hashtags. Okay. So that's the cover photo. And that's the most clicked on photo on a Facebook page, actually. Next piece is going to be the profile photo. It could be a logo or a face. And because people, again, are going to click on that, we want to make sure that just like with the cover photo, there's something here that further explains what it is you're all about, what you're doing, your cause, your efforts, how people can take advantage of what you have to offer. We can bullet point it. We can just make it very easy for people to see all the value you bring, what next step to take with you, and along with the hashtags to see that they fit in your demographic, they fit in your target market. So right there, that's really huge. In looking at the business page, the other piece we want to look at on the Facebook business pages, we can expect naturally people are going to scroll through and they're going to look to see what's there. And again, we want to make sure that what they see is in alignment with what it is you want them to learn about you or your group or your organization, what it is that makes you so special, your group so special, why they should work with you. So for myself as an individual, I'm sharing things that establish that influence. I made last year's the 2020 list of influential African-American businesswomen to follow on LinkedIn. I also really believe that part of relationship building is showing your humanness. So any organization, whether it be a corporate organization or a nonprofit, still should have a human element, still has a human element for the purpose of relatability and personal relationship building, especially in this virtual world we're living. So one of the things that I do, and one of the ways in which an organization or company can do that, is yes, while in your caption, you absolutely want to share your events and what's going on. it can definitely be done in a personalized way. One way we can do that is, instead of when we get behind these computers and devices and we get ready to quote unquote market, actually visualize a human person in front of you. And how would you talk to them if you were at a dinner party or a backyard barbecue? And here's an example. I actually have classes that I teach on LinkedIn and Instagram. And of course, I want to draw people to that event. I heard earlier, we want to grow membership, right? Of course, we want to attract people. But how do we do that in a non-salesy manner? And we do that by being relatable. And just here's an example of a post. I'm just going to read it so you can see an example. I said, every day is an opportunity to create a happy ending. And you and I are doing precisely that in running our own businesses and creating our own rich life. Something that enriches me, my life, is in being able to help others, doing what I love, teaching others how to leverage LinkedIn and Instagram. Here's the next class. And then I shared a personal photo of me rather than a flyer or some salesy graphic. And I brought everyone in first. I got the attention first by being relatable. Everyone can relate to wanting to create your own rich life and creating your reality. So really personalized, really humanized. The issue with the Facebook business page is it can be hard to find and the reach may not be as great as, say, a personal page. So this is what I suggest. Anyone who especially is on leadership, on Rotary, or anyone in your organization or your company, on your personal, everyone has a personal page. And even on the personal page, you can share while it's more personalized. You can see here, I changed my profile photo. It's more personalized. It's a different picture of me rather than a headshot. I have me presenting once again, but look what I've got kind of in the background, that headshot that you saw in the original Facebook business page, showing me presenting again. And on the personal page, really trying to personalize, still highlighting the more business piece. So in this case, we have done for you social media management right there, and then even a website that you can link. Now, how are we going to drive people to the Facebook business page? Well, in the work area where you see intro, I often see this area, it's like goes to some generic page. Instead, we want it to go to the Facebook business page. So when you go in and edit your about section right here, when you go in and edit that, it gives you the option to share where you work. And obviously I work at my own company. If you work at your company or your organization or your nonprofit, and you want to link it to the Rotary page, especially again, if you're heavily involved in Rotary or on a leadership team, you want to put the Facebook business page of Rotary. Someone clicks that, it takes them to that original business page that we were just talking about. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for people to find that page. So I'm just going to pause there. I'm going to stop sharing screen and just kind of get a feel for the audience here, see if there's any questions. I am going to allow opportunity for any questions. If anything pops up in the meantime, feel free to pop it into the chat and to present your question. Okay, so hashtags. Hashtags help they're that what you just saw where you have a pound, the pound sign followed by a word. And let's say you're looking to target a specific audience, a specific demographic. You can put something like hashtag Oakland, or let's say I met a realtor just now in the breakout room. You can put something like hashtag Bay Area real estate, whatever it is. Maybe you're looking for dog lovers. Maybe you're looking for those who care about civic and community involvement. Hashtag community, right? Any word that fits what it is you're looking for, that's the hashtag you're going to utilize in your post. Okay, so the formula for an ideal post, okay? Because we don't want to just be sharing great information. We want to share great information and remember, give that call to action and have those hashtags to meet more people who fit our audience. Okay, so that's good stuff right there. Okay, now, in sharing that great information, people, without us having to tell them, follow me, buy this, hire me, join us, without having to do that, because you're sharing that great information, people, you build influence with people. People see, it's clear. Oh, this is why I want to connect with them. This is why I want to have a virtual coffee with this person. This is why I should join that group and visit that group when they ask me to. Okay. You know, there are certain people that I can think of where when they invite me to something, they don't even have to tell me a bunch of information because it's coming from them, because the invite is coming from them. I'm like, yes, I'm an easy yes. Right. And then there are other people who they're going to have to explain a little bit more. They're going to have to put a little bit more effort in convincing me that I want to be involved. And what we can do is leverage our social media presence to do all the talking for us as to why someone should take action with you, listen to you, follow you in that invite. So, for example, you're showing the impact you're making in the community. You're showing the work that you're doing, any accolades, awards, how you've been recognized, your involvement, how you're giving back, how you're making an impact locally and abroad, and then saying, hey, I would love it if you join me in this. Visit with me here, come to this group with me here, consider membership because, right? Because now your online presence has already done all the talking for you. Okay. Now, I had the pleasure of hearing someone share in the breakout room how they were heavily impacted by Rotary. And these are personal stories, and we love a good story. So I would love to see that online. You know, I had a chance to poke around online a bit and see, I would love to see more of that personalization. I come from the philosophy of attraction marketing, relationship marketing, more like you're talking to another person rather than being salesy and marketing. So you share a story like that. We see that online. And then we see a call to action. Hey, join us here, find out more here, visit this, right? Click the link here or email, right? That call to action. And then the hashtags allowing our post to reach more people who fit in that category that we're looking for. So I was going to say, you can actually see whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Those are the three biggies. I know that Twitter is a thing, but the three biggies are LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. What I'm going to do for you guys is put in the chat a link to my Instagram so you can see how I do that there. You guys just saw how I do that on Facebook. On Instagram, it's just @Italina K, @Italina K, my first name, and then the initial of my last name. At Italina K, you'll see again, all personalization. And when we look at, branding, we want to be promoting and sharing our brand online, whether that is, community efforts or any other activities that you guys are involved in, as well as any professional efforts, those who your target audience, what their interests are. So I like to really sum up branding in a very simple way. When you look at branding, you can look at three things. One, the first thing is already taken care of for you, and that's whatever it is you're representing or what you're doing. So for me, it's going to be social media. If it's for your group, it's going to be community involvement or community efforts or real estate or whatever it is you're into professionally. That's going to be the first piece of your brand. So you're going to share items related to that. The second piece of your brand is something personal, not private, personal. So private are those things behind closed doors. Personal just means not business, not professional. So for me, I'm a tennis player and I don't mind people knowing that I I'm a tennis player. So that's a part of my brand. And that's something that you will very much see on my Instagram. For example, you'll see videos and photos of me either playing tennis or on the tennis court. To have a little fun, sometimes I'll even mix business and pleasure by sharing social media tips from the tennis court or after I hit a ball, right? So that helps people remember you and set you apart. It's something that sticks in people's mind and people love it. It's a good story and it's unique and catchy. The third piece of your brand is going to be your audience's interest. So you got your interest, now your audience's interest. What are they interested in? So we're going to pull them in, attract them by speaking to their interests. So those are 3 simple ways where I love to wrap up branding. And if you consistently share those 3 things on your platforms, it's going to be very easy to remember you. And it's going to be very easy to stand out. Good stuff?
Steph, why don't you pull up Rotary's page and tell us what to do with it?
So I absolutely did. And by no means do I want to knock anyone's pages. I pulled up the page and I kind of hinted earlier, like I see you guys are sharing great information. And what I would love to see in addition to help you with further reach, you can see there's just as far as to up the engagement, adding those call to actions and adding those hashtags. Those are 2 pieces that I mentioned earlier.
Very good. I think we have a few questions in the.
Go ahead.
You ready to take questions now?
Absolutely.
All right, Susie, do you have a questions for us?
Yeah, and actually this also came up in our breakout room, is the value of paying for advertising on Facebook or whatever platform.
Okay, so in answer to that, I would say definitely maximize the free first. And I don't see that happening on the pages. So maximize the free first. So for example, organic reach, you're going to have a better effect there with the organic reach, utilizing hashtags, utilizing call to actions, utilizing all the space, right? The cover photo, the profile photo, the about section, having the leaders of Rotary putting on in their about section on their personal page that they are involved in Rotary, to link it to the Rotary page. So many free things. And in actuality, when you don't have that organic reach first, when you start paying for ads on Facebook, really all you're doing is paying for Mark Zuckerberg's car and apartment and all those things. Okay. All right. You're welcome to do that.
You don't let the boost is not worth it? Okay, Susie, we got any other questions?
That is all we have, President says.
All right, anybody have any questions? They can go ahead and queue it up.
What I'll do is I'll just as a resource to you. Am I out of time?
No, you got more time.
Okay, wonderful. How much more time do I have, by the way?
About 2-3 minutes.
Excellent. That's all I need. I am a concise person, so that's perfectly fine. I see a question in the chat that says, "What about LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook?" That's not a complete sentence. So if you can maybe whoever said that, if they can voice that question.
Stephanie, voice that question.
Okay.
Okay, linking the 2. So because for work, we post on Facebook, but you can link it to Instagram. Is that a good idea?
Okay, that's an excellent question. So this is what I have to say about that. LinkedIn wants you to use LinkedIn. Instagram wants you to use Instagram. Facebook wants you to use Facebook. So that means when you post on Facebook, it's best that you post on Facebook directly versus linking. I know they're owned by the same company, but as far as your reach, again, that algorithm, that magical force that determines how far your reach is, you're going to find more favor in posting directly on each site individually, plus hashtags on Instagram are going to differ from those on Facebook. On Facebook, you may use up to like 3 to 6 hashtags and use more humanized, more personal kind of hashtags. Where on Instagram, you can use up to 30 hashtags and you can use more like kind of like company or group or organization focused hashtags. So you want to definitely post separately for those 2 reasons. And since I'm out of time, what I would say to do is if you guys want to reach out to me, definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. I can answer any other questions. I'd be happy to offer you a free assessment. Let's say your company has a social media presence that you want. You're like, I'm not sure. I think it could be improved. I think there's some gaps that may be filled. You can go ahead and reach out to me on LinkedIn or Instagram. Just say, hey, I saw you talking at Rotary. And then as a free resource, for those who just want to kind of learn more social media tips on my YouTube channel, there you have there. I just put in the chat. I give a lot of free social media advice. You'll see some fun videos of me on the tennis court as well. So that is all I have for you today. I'm thrilled to have been able to share it with you. My name is Italina. Remember, you have these free social media sites. You might as well make the most of them.
Thank you, Italina. I think we do have 1 or 2 more questions that popped up there. Susie, didn't we have another one? Should hashtags on websites from Linda?
Yes. So I think we talked about the hashtag on website. Is that not right?
Hashtags on a website?
Yeah.
They'll be great for branding purposes visually. Typically with websites, I'm not a website developer. That's more Sandeepa's arena, and I am a social media company, not website. I know that websites, you can do keywords. That's going to be important there.
And as a former developer, fundraiser pro, we found boosting posts was worth it during campaigns.
Okay, awesome.
That's what they claim, i.e. substantial return on investment, $25 investment to boost equal 3,000.
Excellent. I was going to say there's some people in the chat who are wanting to connect with me. Just remember, just put in the chat free assessment, please, if you want to take advantage of that free assessment with your number and email. You'll need both of those pieces to connect with me. So like I see some messages, go ahead and just put that in there, free assessment, please, and with their number and email if you'd like to connect.
Thank you, Italina, for being our speaker today. Let's give her a round of applause or the clap like this.
No.
This year, our club is making homeless crisis in Oakland a priority. To that end, as our gift to you for being our speaker today, in your honor, we are making a donation to support our unhoused residents in Oakland. Additionally, we would like to give you our Centennial Book, which documents 100 years of service and friendship in the 3rd oldest club in the Rotary world. Again, thank you, Italina, for being our speaker today. Rotarian Jim Bosnecker, I believe you have an announcement.
Yes, I do. Thank you, President Ces. Just wanted to remind everybody that tonight at 5:30, we have cocktails with the president at Jack McAvoy's house.
Wait, Jim.
What? Oh, geez. Past President Linda reminds me we are in a pandemic, and so we will not be going to Jack's house tonight. Instead,
we're going to your house.
Zoom call.
Your house.
No, that's not what I said, Jack. So we will have a Zoom cocktails with the president, including in that we will have a recognition of the inauguration, a presidential trivia contest. So hope you can all attend. There was an email sent out this morning with the Zoom link. Again, 5:30 tonight, be there, please. If you didn't get that email, contact either me or Jesse and we'll get it to you. Thank you much.
Thank you, Jim. Past President Lorna Padilla Marcus, will you tell us about our speaker for our next Civic Thursday meeting?
Thank you, Ces. So, have you ever wondered about the inner workings of the Franchise Tax Board, or what are their hot topics for taxes? Join us next Thursday to hear Selvi Stanislaus, the first woman executive officer of the Franchise Tax Board. Selvi oversees the 2nd largest tax department in the nation with more than 6,000 employees and they are responsible for collecting over 60 billion in taxes. So maybe she'll tell us how to collect less from us. We'll see. Look forward to seeing you next week.
That should be interesting. It's about going to be tax time before you know it, so that should be interesting. Thank you, Georgia, for the thought for the day. Thank you, Dudley, for giving us a progress report on the strategic plan. Thank you, David, for updating our Community Service Committee. And big thank you to Isaac for bringing us up to date on our Public Image and Communications Committee. You're doing a lot and we appreciate it, everything that you're doing for us. Thank you, David Kay, for introducing our speaker. And finally, from you, Jim, for reminding us about cocktails with the president. Jesse, do we have any bell ringers before I wrap up?
We do not this week.
Well, this is the first week we haven't had any bell ringers. But that's all right. We'll keep it up going good for this first year. This year is for our president-elect.
Oh, we do have a bell ring. One just came in. Joyce E. Mack for welcoming the new Biden administration.
All right, very good. New administration for Rotary, you, Jesse? Or
no, Biden's.
Biden administration, okay. Very good. Let me ring the bell then. Joycey, thank you so much. So I'd like to end this meeting as we always do, and that's the way it went at the 5,324th club meeting on January 21st, 2021 at Oakland Rotary number 3, the third oldest Rotary Club in the world. Everybody remember, Rotary opens opportunities for service above self. And for now, this meeting is adjourned.